Good evening, everybody. This is Radio Free Mormon. This is also Mormonism After Dark, where all the cool cats hang out at the end of a long week to relax and deconstruct with family and friends. This is the Post-Mormon Lounge. Welcome. We've got some wonderful guests on tonight. We had them on recently, though not on this show. It was a separate show. We have Summer-Rayn and also our good friend, Black Priesthood. Did somebody lose a signal in there?
Hello.
Okay. How are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How are
I'm
you?
doing fantastic. I'm so ready for this.
Well, I want everybody to know that we have this thing scheduled for tonight, and not to talk about, Kyle, the church historian's, his gaffe, because really that's kind of been beat to death, I think, but rather the fallout from his gaffe, because it began to be discussed in various places throughout the internet, and people were taking sides. They were calling it the way they saw it, and some people saw it in remarkable ways and wrote about it, especially those who sought to defend Kyle McKay in the most extreme of terms. And I know a few things like that have been going on, and we're going to talk about those tonight. So, do you have any comments about your weeks? How about you, Summer? How was your week?
My week was amazing. And I am very ready for this. I'm very excited. I had a great week. Talked to you guys a lot in the chat with Rebecca, which wish she was with us. Miss you, Rebecca. But yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Do you guys want to see how ready I am?
Yeah, how ready are you?
Okay.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, it's the Black Panther party.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm this ready.
Nice.
I'm this ready. And
Nice.
And that's going to mean a lot more as
audience-
we progress tonight, folks.
Yes. I hope
That's
the audience will stay tuned to why this is we're ready to go. We'll see
It
what
has the year
happens.
1966 on it.
So I beat the person that we're going to talk about because his is 1968.
That would be important. It's like the Mustangs at that time period.
Yes.
But the 66 is important because that's when it was organized, the Black Panther Party, right?
That's when it was established. 1,000%. Yeah.
Okay. How was your week, Black Priesthood?
It's been good. It's been a good week. I think what is it? Ice Cube says it was a good day. It's been a good week.
Today was a good day.
Today was a good day, yes. Yes.
Well,
this
good.
week was a good week.
Sorry. We will be talking about the fallout, and then we'll have everybody come on the show who wants to come on the show to give your 2 cents and ask Summer or Black Priesthood anything that you want. So let's start here. I'm going to, you know what I need to do? I'm going to have to load these slides. That's what I'm going to have to do. Because we were making changes up to the very last minute, right before the show started. That's why it was just a few seconds late starting. And the deal is I can't load the slides until the changes are made. Because if I load them too soon, the changes will not be there. But that's cool. You can guess how I found that out. Through hard experience, I can tell you.
Let's bring Diamond Dave on while you
What are
load.
you talking about? No.
Just
Oh, you're being funny?
I'm being
Did you
funny.
just troll me? Sorry, I meant, yes, of course. Let's bring Diamond Dave on. He makes everything better. And he does in large measure. I just thought that maybe you had thought that we were going to have people join us on the stage before
No.
or earlier than I had anticipated.
No, I was thinking maybe he could help.
Oh, with the computer thing?
No, just
No.
while just to entertain everyone while we were loading up slides. There we go.
He's much more
There it
entertaining
is.
after I have forgotten to shut down the show. That's when he's super entertaining. And everybody's gone home except for, a couple people. So it's
That
June
was
12th,
fun.
2026. Kyle S. McKay, my former missionary companion, New church historian begins service. That was not that long ago. It's a few years ago when he got called to that position. And I was very proud of him for that. Not so proud last Sunday, but much prouder of him today.
Yeah.
So here's the whole thing. We did this morning a quick show about the apology that Kyle wrote and sent to the stake president of the stake where he spoke in Oklahoma. And we have the text of it. And we went over the text of it in this brief, I think it's like a 15-minute video this morning. Now, I hate playing this again. The problem is that we're actually going to get into some description of the fallout that is going to depend upon our understanding what it is that Kyle had said last Sunday. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel. Let me ask you how you feel about the apology, straight up. And first off, is that what do you think about it, Black Priesthood? You've seen it, have you?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, so I appreciate Kyle's courage and modeling a behavior to step up within a reasonable amount of time to offer an apology. I think that is welcomed. I think there seems to be a sense of understanding of the impact of his statement, and so that is completely welcomed. And as far as I'm concerned, all love and forgiveness.
Very good. You, Summer?
I agree. I'm not in the business of judging somebody else and their intent and all of that. I think that apologies are meant for acknowledgement of a wrong being done. And so I personally appreciated it because the church does not seek apologies and they do not make apologies, according to President Oaks. And so the fact that there was even an acknowledgement and that there could have been harm or offense, to me is, I mean, I know the bar is pretty low with the church, but to me, it was huge. It was huge. It's not lost on me that it was sent to the stake, not a public apology, right? So it was more sent to the stake on a local level and said, well, you can share this if you want to, which it was meant to be shared. So it's not, I don't feel like it's my place to ever look at someone and say, you don't mean it, or you could have said that better, because I don't need an apology for me to move on from something. But I do think that when an apology is given, we should give credit to the fact that you're at least acknowledging that it impacted somebody in a negative way. So that's how I see it.
Bill can't make it tonight either. He's doing other things, but he did text me the sentiment that he wondered. First off, he thinks that he's glad that Kyle apologized. He wonders if he had to get special permission in order to apologize, since that is not the policy of the church. And if he did need to get permission to do it, then Bill is even more impressed with Kyle. I think that's what he said.
I don't know about permission. It's definitely a good question. I can say with 99% surety that there were a lot of talks this week on a higher level. So whether that was letting Kyle know, listen, even if this wasn't your intent, let's discuss what we should do. Or if it was Kyle saying, listen, this isn't who I am. I want to be able to make a statement. I do know that it was enough that there was movement.
Yes, obviously, right?
Obviously, yeah.
By the way, for the record, also, even though we only went live with that this morning, this letter was dated the 10th. So it was dated Wednesday. And then it had to get leaked out by some people, apparently, for us to get it. And I expect that it was probably reasonable to believe that if the video itself was leaked all over the world like it was, then an apology letter might follow the same path. Here he is, okay? This is hopefully going to be the last time that I ever have to play this now.
I hope so.
But this is just for context, okay? And once again, we have the grasshoppers first. He didn't apologize for the grasshoppers. Yes, that's right. He didn't. They did apologize for the other. All right. Once again, this is last Sunday at the state conference in Oklahoma. There's my mission companion, Kyle McKay, approaching the stand.
Well, brothers and sisters, it has been just a joy to spend this weekend with you, and especially the last hour plus. I've been so moved by what has been said and by what the Lord has been telling me. I hope that His Spirit may continue and that I won't get in the way of whatever God is trying to teach you. I've had a couple of experiences that have been less than spiritual. One coming out of the fact that maybe you can see it, but when you're on this stage, there's two just great big lights. And this, I call this the revenge of the grasshoppers, because when I was a child, you know what you do with a grasshopper and a magnifying glass. And so for all of those that I sent to the other side, now I'm got the same kind of light here on me, and I'm wearing glasses, and I've burned holes in my retina here. So I'm grateful for this light. I'm especially grateful that we could sing This Little Light of Mine. That's a song where white people try to sing like black people, and it's our hymn. But I want you to know that we sang it in our ward. I happen to be visiting our ward because I don't get to go to my home ward, and we sang it for intermediate or something hymn. And I'm sitting next to our second counselor there on the stand, and he's singing This Little Light of Mine, I'm gonna let it shine. And I went, dude, I wanted to turn to him and say, you know you're white. And he was saying, no, I'm an African slave is what I am. And he's singing Swanee River. And anyway, I'm so glad it's in our hymn book. It does make you move just a little bit. And then there's another hymn in there that makes you move even more. I'm going to live so God can use me. I like that one. I'm grateful that we can rejoice in our music. I'm thankful for everything that's been said.
Okay, so there was that. Once again, any other comments about this before I move on to the next slide? I know we've heard this a number of times before. He has apologized. Once again, we're just playing this again to give context for what's going to follow, because there's been some fallout that Summer is going to tell us about and Black Priesthood is going to talk about. And that involves people, most of the members of the church, most of them faithful members of the church, seeking to defend Kyle McKay, and sometimes in extreme terms. Okay. Yes?
I have one thing I'd like to say very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I think as a society, and especially as members of the church, we need to do better with jumping to demonize and or defend the indefensible, especially defend the indefensible, because kind of as Latter-day Saints, we're taught that if the church is attacked, we are attacked. If the church servant is attacked, it's an attack on us personally. We need to do better in just being able to sit back and say, this isn't about the person, it's about the action. And I felt like we did a good job as a panel on Sunday, bringing up the fact that this was very racist. It wasn't appropriate, but none of us went into intent. None of us said that we thought that McKay meant this in any bad way, and I even tried to point out there's ignorant racism and then there's like hatred racism. The point is, though, there's still an impact. It doesn't matter the intent. The intent matters when you want to say, is the person going to do it again or anything like that. So I want to say that as we get into the fallout and in the backlash that has happened with this, none of us on the panel, I can't speak for other podcasts, feel as though he did this in a mean-spirited way, period. None of us called him a racist. None of us said that he's a bad person. I think we kind of did the opposite. We kind of gave him grace.
Yes, you did.
And so I just want to put that out there. I do think in the Exmo community, we can do better in not demonizing, right? Not just jumping to these people are terrible because we don't like the institution. And as Mormons, we can do better or Latter-day Saints, do better in not feeling the need to defend the indefensible. Because if it's wrong, it's wrong. That's it. It's wrong. You don't have to throw anything away. It's wrong. And we can move on. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you very much. Is there anything you wanted to add, Black Priesthood?
Yeah. Along that vein, thank you, Summer. I think so. To my mind, it's expectation. It's expectation of the position of authority that he holds, and a lot of the brethren. It's expectation that at that level, you should know better. Like you should at least understand, have some empathy, some sympathy for what a group has gone through. And so I think maybe it was a disappointment, but definitely not demonizing him at all. It was just that I would have never in many lifetimes have expected, given his position of authority and his education, and that those words would come from him. I think that was
Very
a
good.
disappointment.
Thank you. I'm just going to, here is the slide. Here's the apology. There it is. Okay, so I'll go ahead and read this apology. Actually, Summer, do you want to read this apology?
Sure. Dear President Mendenhall, at the beginning of my remarks this past Sunday in the Yukon, Oklahoma State Conference, I made a poor attempt at humor around the singing of This Little Light of Mine. My words have caused offense and injury and put a blight on an otherwise wonderful weekend. I deeply regret saying what I said and apologize for pain, offense, or embarrassment that I've caused anyone in your stake or beyond. I pray that Jesus, who descended below all sin and error, will somehow help heal wounds I may have caused, and in the process give me better vision and judgment. Please feel free to share this letter with anyone who might benefit from reading it. All the best, Elder Kyle S. McKay.
There we go. And as I said, it's dated June 10th on Wednesday. So he was faster than just the following Friday. He was as fast as the following Wednesday. I guess there were a lot of meetings being held in that short period of time. Any comments that either of you have to make about the language of the letter?
Do you have anything, Black Priesthood?
I do not. No.
I appreciate it. I mean, I know people are going to come hard at him, especially the Exmo community, and I completely understand why. But we have to look at the institution itself and the fact that there is never apologies issued. This is huge. And I'm hoping that if we give grace and we say, you know what, thank you, maybe more apologies will come. That's my hope, is that if we don't just sit there and pick it apart and say, well, he said, I apologize for any pain. I get it, guys. I read it. I know exactly why people feel like this might be not a real apology, but it was said. He's taken accountability, and I don't know. I want this for the church, and I think this is a great step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that maybe this really unfortunate, I'll understate it that way, incident that happened last Sunday was an opportunity to turn a corner that Kyle took.
Yeah.
All right. So, Black Priesthood, did you have anything you wanted to say about the text?
Other than the fact that it seems to have been confined to a smaller audience, meaning in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It's Black Wall Street was in Oklahoma, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
What was
Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street that was
You're gonna
burned
have to
down.
educate me.
So, Summer, you might know more about this than I do. I believe as Black people started gaining independence, they set up in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yep.
They set up a whole town that was self-sufficient. They had lawyers, they had doctors, they had commerce, they had mercantile, they had all kinds of businesses. And my history is failing me now. I don't know if it was like in the 1920s, but it was burned down. It was burned down because it was quite a successful town with successful Black folks who had gained independence, and they thrived and they did well. And so to give that speech in that setting, I should have looked this up before in preparation for this. But the history is out there. You can just look up Black Wall Street. It is there.
It's
So many cities.
It's
Greenwood,
a huge part of our history.
How is that I made it through the
huge
public
part.
school system without hearing about it?
If you look up Black Wall
Yeah.
Street, because
That's
it
what I'm
was
doing right now.
it was a lot of money. They did
Yep.
incredibly well, and the white people came in and they
Oh, my
burned it down.
Lord. The
Yeah, that's what
devastation
it was.
of Black
They
Wall
burnt it
Street,
down.
Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. A wave of racial
Mhm.
violence destroys an
Mhm.
affluent African American community seen as a
Yep.
threat to white-dominated American capitalism.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness!
Yeah, it's an incredible story, and honestly, I wish it was told more. Thank you, Black
That's right.
Priesthood, for even bringing it up. I wish it was taught as much as slavery is taught, right? Because after slavery, there was such a boom. I mean, the Black community. We could go on about that forever, but yeah, look it up. It's really
And there were-
interesting, RFM.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm
Summer.
sorry, I've got to.
There
pay
were
attention. I'm
communities.
sitting here immersed in this article now.
There were several communities like that were destroyed, either paved over, freeway comes through
Yep.
and just divides the community, or they flooded. I think there was one in Louisiana, Lake Lanier, I believe, thriving African American community that was flooded. So many of these cities that were destroyed, and for that statement to have been made in Oklahoma, given the history, and this is why, for me, I think it is so crucial for this church to learn about Black history. If you're going to encourage Black people to join this church, we need to understand their history. It is equally church history. It is equally American history. And the sacrifice and the trauma and the pain, and to get up and make a joke about slavery, which was so devastating, is so inappropriate. And to make that statement in that setting in Oklahoma was just, but I am thankful that he apologized. But I think there is a lack of understanding and history lessons and connecting the dots that is missing.
Very good. This is the email. By the way, thanks for letting me know about that.
You're welcome.
Black Wall Street, incredible. 1921.
It's
It was
incredible.
technically called the Oklahoma's Greenwood District, known as Black Wall Street.
Yep.
One of the most prosperous African American communities in the United States. Wow. All right. So here's that email that went out with the attachment of Kyle's letter to it, to apparently all the members of the stake there in Oklahoma. It basically says blah, 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 blah. And we had a great time. And here's something from Kyle McKay attached. And this last part, though, is kind of interesting. I don't know if I have a slide that has it any. No, I don't. Any bigger, but let me see here if I can do anything with this. Because here's where apparently the stake appends an explanation. It's almost an apologetic for why it is they took the video down. Remember, it blew up after it happened Sunday. We met on an emergency basis Sunday evening for a live podcast. The next day it was taken down. And now they're saying why it was they took it down, because it has nothing to do with what Kyle McKay said. That's the point, right?
Of course not. Of course not.
No, they
this is
always
what the
take down
handbook
their
says.
state
We
conference.
go by the handbook.
Yes,
I
they
said
always
this is
take
what
down.
the handbook says. Yeah, we go by the handbook. That it has nothing to do with the content.
No, it did not. Now, here's the funny thing, okay, is that I was going back. I mean, Sunday, I was trying to find this video because it was still up, but it was not easy to find on their website. So I had to end up going through all these different things. They had a whole bunch of videos up on their website. And I distinctly remember that they had up still the conference, the state conference recording from last January.
Mm.
And I remember it specifically, even though there's a bunch of other things like firesides this and, you know, special performances that there in the stake in Oklahoma. But I remember it specifically because I thought January. At this point in the game, I'm just trying to do some basic research and see where Kyle McKay was on last Sunday. If I could find that out, I'm trying to find out if this is real at this point. And that's why I go to the website and I'm trying to find out, did he speak there? And I'm having trouble finding a recording of last Sunday. I ultimately did. But I saw that there was a state conference from last June. And I thought, well, that's obviously not the state conference, but no, last January, the beginning of the year. And I thought, well, that's not right, but it could be because that's 6 months ago. And you tend to have your conferences every 6 months. In the Mormon church. So I thought maybe this is it. It did end up being that. All I'm saying is the reason I have a distinct recollection of there being a recording of the January state conference in this Oklahoma stake still up on the website is because I saw it last Sunday. It may not, I don't think it's there anymore. I think that may have gotten taken down as well. And who knows? There may be an innocent explanation. Maybe it was up there because they're not aware of the handbook. I mean, is there somebody on the earth? Is there one person who's supposed to have this whole thing memorized? Is there a Radar O'Reilly in Salt Lake City who knows this thing backward and forward? Maybe there is, but I don't think they're bishops or stake presidents as a general rule. And so maybe they just took it down and also took down the other one. But I think it's a little suspicious myself.
Yeah, I agree.
It's great to take it down. I'm glad you took it down, but why don't you just say why you took it down?
Yeah.
Now, this is something that you added to the slide deck right before the show, Black Priesthood. And can you tell us about this?
Yeah. So to me, I think every behavior that we see in the church that is of this nature, Brad Wilcox's comment, you can trace it back to Bruce R. McConkey's comments and Mormon doctrine books before it got revised. I think to me the crux of this issue in 2 Nephi 5, 21 through 24, this curse of the dark skin, that they may not be enticing unto my people. I came across this quote during my deconstruction as I'm trying to make sense of why my discovery of that doctrine was so visceral and struck me so hard, was that this quote by George Orwell, the most effective way to destroy people is to deny and obliterate their own understanding of their history. The Book of Mormon positioning Black people as less valuable, well, it not specifically in the text, but that they were cursed with this dark skin, that they may not be enticing unto my people, and along with all of the doctrinal expositions and that underpinned that doctrine and supported it for 126 years until it was rescinded, boils down to teaching these people that they are not their divine nature, they're not who they were created to be, like convincing both Black and white members that Black people were less valiant in the pre-existence, which was amply taught in the church, and that they were fence-sitters, they're descendants of Cain, who killed Abel, is really to establish in the mind of members that these people are less than, like deny their divine nature and their ancestry from God. That to me is what I spent 20 years trying to understand, why I was constitutionally just averse to this doctrine. And it did damage to my psyche. But this is what it boiled down to. This is what made sense. That the most effective way, and you see this with the Native Americans, the removal and placement of Native American children. There is ample example of this, and this is what finally just the last piece that fell into place and made it make sense. This discombobulation, the nature of trying to navigate your place in the church when your history and your ancestry, your divine nature has been denied and destroyed and unacknowledged in the church. Because a lot of us, Black people in the church, are walking around with trauma that we haven't yet recognized. And I think as we figure this out, we may need help. But this to me is what makes sense, that that understanding of their history, of their ancestry, of their divine nature is denied in Second Nephi, along with some of the other scriptures in Mormonism.
Does that prompt any thoughts for you, Summer?
I just thought of with the Curse of Cain in Dr. Matt Harris's book, Second Class Saints. He actually was able to track down, they gave patriarchal blessings. And, you know, when you find the lineage, there were people that had the lineage of Cain. So it's yeah. I really appreciate your thoughts by Priesthood on that, because there's a lot of trauma. And it's something that, again, I think that's why I appreciate Kyle's, Elder McKay's apology, because the first step is acknowledgement. And I appreciate that it was acknowledged that there was harm. And I feel like the church could help a lot of people who grew up in this church with this doctrine if they acknowledged first. And even if they said, we're sorry that it offended people or hurt people, it would go a long way.
Yeah, you know, something that occurred to me, I've been processing the feelings I've been having since I found out about this apology. And I have been emotional about it. I've been glad about it. It's been a strange mixture of emotions that has almost gotten me on the point of crying. I didn't cry, okay, but you know how you feel when you feel like, you know, it could be coming and maybe it won't, and it didn't. But it made me feel emotional in that way, to the point where I was going to cry with emotion, and then it hit me. That's when it hit me. That's why it is that every story you hear from a Mormon from back in June of 1978, when they first heard about the lifting of the priesthood and temple ban, that they cried.
Yeah.
Now I know the reason they cried. The reason they cried is because their leaders finally did the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, these are slides prompt me to remember to tell you Bill's thoughts, which I already remembered without the slide. Now, there's a reference in what Kyle had said to Swanee River, that he was saying in Swanee River. I looked in the live chat, okay? Forgive me, I'm obviously showing my age, but I thought everybody knew what the heck Swanee River was. But a lot of people did not know what he meant.
Really?
Yeah, when he said Swanee River. So I'm going
Yeah.
to risk not being able to monetize this video by playing this little clip here. This is Bing Crosby. And this is a 1930s black and white, very romanticized version of the South and the Swanee River, right? And maybe I'll just play the first part, okay? Here's the thing. Even in this 1930s film, they keep the original line about the darkies.
Yeah.
Okay, Bing Crosby, who's somebody that, you know, I'm a contemporary with. I think he passed away when I was 15 or 17, I think it was. And I grew up hearing his music, watching the movies, and this is what was happening in the 1930s. It was completely acceptable with all the white Southern folk around, but you will see the black people playing the parts of slaves and the children of slaves throughout. So I'm going to go ahead and play. I think this is important enough to play. This is from, I'm not sure what movie it's from. Whoop. Hang on a second here. I've got to put that back at the beginning. I apologize. That one fooled me, cuz that was the wrong slide. This is the right slide. So here's the children, right?
Lay down upon this wall. Kneel thou.
Oh, why spoil it? Won't you for me?
Well, of course he will. His name is Bing Crosby. He's going to sing along, and he's going to sing it. Best of all. I'm stopping it there because I don't want to get to the part, but it happens. And you can find out what movie this is. You can look this clip up on YouTube. If you want to look up Swanee River and Bing Crosby, I'm sure it'll come up.
Oh, someone said the film is Mississippi.
Mississippi. Thank you very much. I've never seen the movie. I hadn't heard of it before, but
Malachi.
in my research, I found this clip because I wanted to let people know what it was that Kyle was referring to when he said about the second counselor in the story he kind of made up about the second counselor. They're never going to be friends again. But about the second counselor and how the second counselor is singing Swanee River.
Yeah.
Okay. Any thoughts from you? Let's start with Black Priesthood and then go to Summer about this clip about Swanee River and about that reference.
Yeah. I come back to education. It's just difficult for me. I think as a Black person in this country, you straddle this world where you learn white American history, you learn Black American, you learn the history, you're sort of hopefully somewhat rounded in a lot of history. But I find that in the church, so many of us do not learn the other history. We don't learn about Black history. We don't learn about the converts' history, but the history of pioneers crossing the plains is highly emphasized. Like, I'm expected as a convert to assimilate and learn all the other history, but nobody bothers to learn my history or the African American history or the impact of slavery on them. I mean, so for Kyle to make references to one, this little light of mine, and singing it in African slave dialects, and then Swanee River, I'm not sure how much more you could derail the spirit that was supposed to be present if there had been some level of understanding of education of history of African Americans and appreciation for their sacrifice, not just socially in society, but those that join the church always having to stand out and be the vigilance that comes when you step into an all-white space, especially in church. It always at the back of your mind, do I belong here? Am I at the right place? The fact that everybody knows about my descendant of being a descendant of Cain, and in their mind, that is where they go, whether they say it out loud or not. I'm generalizing here, but that is so prevalent in the church. All of that to come back to say that if there was some level of education and understanding of history, African American history, African American converts to the church, their history, then you wouldn't be having these kinds of mistakes and comments.
Thank you. Summer?
No, I don't want to even add to that. I think that was amazing, Black Priesthood, and what you're saying. It's about learning each other's history, and learning the history allows us to have the empathy to understand where somebody else is coming from. 1000%.
I'm going to skip a bunch of slides down here that we don't need to get to.
You better not skip mine. That's all I have.
No, I'm not. I'm skipping to get to yours, just so you know.
If anybody wonders why I never come on the show again, it's because I'm such a problem.
So this was the comment. Now, you had not found this comment, okay? I found this comment. This was something that was made in the comments under the video, I think from last Wednesday, last Monday, the newscast. I can tell by the people who are on the screen. See, that's how I figured it out.
It's Monday.
And this is what this says. Hey, Black Priesthood, are you able to read this? Is it too small?
Yes, I can read it. I found nothing racist in his speech. What I found offensive is the immediate backlash against a white guy while telling Blacks they must be offended. Maybe Blacks should stop being offended and grow up. Keeping Blacks offended like this inhibits any growth they should be striving to achieve.
Had you seen that comment?
I saw it in the text thread.
Yeah, sorry.
Any thoughts about that?
Do you have something to say, Black Priesthood, about that?
I do, and you know, I will go back to that history. I think the minimization of that, what the comments that were said, and it isn't just those comments. It is a minimization of 2 Nephi 5:21 to 24. It is a minimization of Bruce R. McConkey's Mormon doctrine. What is it? Joseph F. Fielding Smith, George Q. Cannon, Randy Botts. It is every time this comes up, consistent minimization in the church about, oh yeah, you get offended so easily, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of understanding where that comes from, why there might be this kind of reaction. Yeah, and so that's exactly what this commenter is doing. Maybe blacks should stop being offended and grow up. That comment is very offensive, and essentially what he's saying is, and you know, one excuse that were given for priesthood being denied from black people is that they were not accountable enough. They were not spiritually at a level where they could be accountable. So giving them the priesthood will bring condemnation, right?
Right.
That is what this is saying, is that you haven't grown up. So you should grow up and stop being offended.
That's how Randy Bott taught it to his classes of students,
Exactly
wasn't
right.
it? And told it to the
Yes.
newspaper when he opened his big mouth and actually said what the church really teaches.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's 2012, by the way, in case you don't remember. I think it was 2012. Mitt Romney's running for president.
Yep.
The press wants to find out what the LDS Church believes on this whole priesthood temple ban thing. And they've been told they have to go to the PR person at BYU. That's the only person they can go to. And they said, screw this. We're going to go talk to the professor of religion who teaches his kids. And boy, did they get an earful. And then boy, did Randy Bott lose his job real quick. Excuse me, I meant got called on a mission with his wife.
Convenient.
Yes, to I think it was to to Siberia, I think is where it was. They've got special missions for people like Randy Bott. His wife just has to go along for it. Now, there's this. Oh, and this is something I tell you what, I want everybody to know. This show is mainly for people to come on and talk, and we're covering this, and I apologize. I will give you plenty of time, okay, once we get through this, that you can come on and talk. All right, that's my promise to you. This is something that someone with a spicy name, which I'm not going to repeat here, had to say. And this is kind of like how I felt. It says, God damn it. Kyle was for me. Kyle was for real one of the most influential figures in my teenage years. This guy, or this person, I'm assuming it's a guy because of the name I'm not going to read. The name is I Fucked Your Mom. Sorry, I figure, I may as well take advantage.
The name I'm not going to read.
This is I'm going to occur to me, this is a restricted show. Nobody above 18 is supposed to show up. Actually, no, wait, that's Psych Word Radio. Nobody below 18 is supposed to show up to this show. So, yeah, that's what it says. I fucked your mom. It's right up there on the screen. So I'm assuming it's a guy. Okay, so having said that, this guy knows Kyle. Says, God damn it. And he may know Kyle's mom, too. I don't know. Says, God damn it. Kyle was, for real, one of the most influential figures in my teenage years. It actually made a significant difference multiple times in my life as a teen and even when I was a missionary. See, this captures how I was feeling.
Yeah.
I'm extremely disturbed by his language here and wished it was AI at first. So did I. He gave some of the most incredible sermons I'd ever heard as a young man as our stake president. Everyone knew he'd be a GA one day, years before it happened. I'm disgusted and embarrassed that this was the man I gave my Eagle Mentor pin to. Apparently that's a thing. And maybe that means he mentored him when he was doing his Eagle Award for Scouts. Let me know in the comments. My mission president told me any other person would have been sent home for what I confessed to doing with my high school girlfriend, but openly stated that Kyle was the only reason I stayed on the mish.
Wow.
Apparently he advocated for him with the mission president. I told the church a decade ago, but this is absolutely salt to the wound. No, I left the church. I'm sorry. I left the church a decade ago, but this is absolutely salt to the wound. Shame on Kyle and shame on the Mormon Church. I hope he reads this. He probably knows who I am based on the context. Yeah, there's a lot of details there. I hope I fucked your mom is feeling better after the apology from Kyle. And I want to clip that and put it on TikTok. You see, Kyle McKay is sorry I fucked your mom.
I think we'll need another apology now.
Okay, so we're gonna get to this other stuff that you have, Summer. This is the James Manning James story. I don't know if we have time to play the whole thing, but you had brought this up, Black Priesthood, that this was very, very strange and difficult for you to get your head around, given the fact that this is the same guy, Kyle McKay, who gave this very emotional rendering of the story of Jane Manning James just 3 years ago at a BYU Idaho devotional.
Right.
And this was before he apologized too. We discussed this talk before the apology
Yes.
came out, from what I remember.
Yes.
Right, Black Priesthood. I think that's what.
And there's the timestamp. I don't know if you can get it off the screen. I guess if you enlarge it and then really type out all that stuff. But you can look it up. It's a BYU Idaho speech, and they have their own website with the speeches on it. And it's April of 2023.
Yeah.
How is it that you deal or understand one person who can be so emotional publicly about the travails and the discrimination, the racial discrimination and bigotry against Jane Manning James within her own church by church leaders, and even crying tears down your cheek when you're talking about it, and really talking about how it is that in spite of how badly she was treated, she remained a faithful Mormon, which is the real point, I think. Which means no matter, you don't have it worse than she did, so you've got no excuse to not continue faithful if Jane Manning James did. That's sort of the takeaway I get from it. What do you take away from it, Black Priesthood?
Yeah, so you trust leaders. You trust that, when I joined the church, part of the cornerstone doctrine that I understood was that these were men of God. They walk and talk with Christ. And so over the years, through my mission, it is one of the reasons I served the mission, is trusting these men. As I've deciphered and kind of struggled through the betrayal that I feel and felt upon discovering the doctrine about the Cain curse and less valiancy, my trust, and I think that trust has been broken for me, but I continue to hope and expect that this man would be Christ-like. And so when Kyle gave that talk, I think in 2023, and was so emotional and referenced Jane Manning James, I trusted Kyle. I looked at him as somebody who might have studied the life of Jane Manning James, who might have empathized and understood the heartbreak, the longing. One of the things that brought tears to my eyes is that statement where she says, "Is there no blessing for me? Is there no blessing for me?" She walked from Nauvoo to Salt Lake.
Yeah.
She gave everything she had to this church. And so I thought Kyle understood that. And yet the flip side of it is in 2026 to give this talk without any sort of understanding and struggling to understand what it is that Jen might have felt or what the slaves may have felt, but to mimic and try and sing in a slave dialect. Or in his mind, the story that came was that this is how a slave dialect or an African slave would sing this song. A spiritual that was so meaningful in that time and place for those people. Is there no blessing for me? I could not fathom somebody who would be that emotional referencing and talking about Jane Manning James with somebody who I couldn't reconcile that with somebody who's now mocking the progenitors of Jane Manning James and their struggles.
Yeah. There's one difference that I note right off between the two comments, and that one was on a teleprompter, and it was prepared, and that was Jane Manning James. And the more recent one was not on the teleprompter, and it was unprepared. Or whatever that might mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go back to what Black Priesthood had said earlier. It's about ignorance and it's about learning history. I truly don't even think to this day Elder McKay even sees a link between crying tears for Jane Manning Smith and what we see as a mockery of what African slaves went through. I don't think he sees that, because I truly don't think that was his intent. And intent, again, does not negate impact. But I think if he understood even the history of Swanee River outside of outside of Mississippi, the movie, and what it actually means and where it comes from. Oh, shoot. Oh, can you hear me? Oh, can you guys hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
I was muted,
okay.
but
Okay.
everything's fine.
Sorry, it was like refreshing. But yeah, that's I think that if people knew, then they can have empathy. If they don't know, they can't have empathy. And so even for us to say he was mocking, because we know what it means. I believe that he doesn't even know enough to mock it, if that makes sense. And if I can make a comment about the Black people need to stop being offended. I'm going to use an analogy, and I'm going to use you too for the analogy. If I am standing next to you, RFM, and you step on my toe, it is not your place to tell me how much that hurt, right? If I say, ow, that hurts, it's not your place. It's not your right to tell me, I didn't really step on it. It's not that big a deal. If I'm hurt, the only place you have is to either accept accountability for it, which is to say I did or I didn't. And if you accept accountability, then what do you do from that? Do you say sorry? Do you not? That is it. That is your place. People need to understand, it is not anyone's place to say whether or not someone is hurt, offended, angered, sad. You do not walk my path, right? Now, Black Priesthood, if you are RFM's friend and you are sitting next to him when he steps on my foot, it is not your place to tell me, you don't understand, RFM is the greatest guy ever. He gives money to people who have feet stomped on them all the time. That is not your place, right? Your place as his friend is to either acknowledge what happened and speak to him about, hey, do you want to say sorry? Do you not? That is it. That is your place. And I just want to let people know and understand, it is not anyone's place to tell anyone else how to feel when something affects them, period. And we're going to get into some slides, right? We're going to get into,
yes.
But I want to say, again, thank you to Elder McKay for stepping on someone's foot, on our feet, and acknowledging, listen, I didn't mean to, but I now know that I hurt you, and I am sorry for that hurt. And now we're going to talk about, the Black priesthoods, the friends who come out of the woodwork, in my analogy, and that's not your place. That is not your place. And that's all I wanted to say about that.
All I know is that I could never step on your feet, Summer, because I have lots of friends whose feet have been stepped on.
There we go. There we go. Ooh,
Here
let
we
me see.
go, indeed. Now, what is this, Summer?
This is, and I'm sorry, I don't know this guy's last name. I don't know how to pronounce it. Does anybody know how to pronounce it? I didn't even look it up because I don't
I'm
care.
sorry. What is the name? It's
His
hard for me
last
to see
name.
here.
Is it?
Is this the Hajicek? I think it's
Yes.
Hajicek. Hajicek?
Has a check.
Check.
Okay, I'll call him JH because I didn't even care enough to look this guy up.
Okay.
This is apparently one of Elder McKay's friends. This was on Monday. So what happened? It happened on Sunday, and on Monday, he put this post out. It's a very long post. We're not going to go through all of it.
Oh, we put it on the Mormon Stories podcast. That's right.
Put it on Mormon Stories podcast. So just so people understand, he posted it in two places. He posted it on his personal Facebook public, and he posted on Mormon Stories podcast community, not Mormon Stories podcast. RFM was on that and couldn't find it. It is Mormon Stories podcast community. Hopefully his arrogance allows him to keep it up there. So we're not going to go through everything that was said, but if you want to go on there, I'm sure it will still be up at least, for the next 24 hours. And then maybe Jesus will tell him to take it down. Who knows? So I'm just going to read actually the first part of this because he goes on and on. The only reason why I wanted to include the last post is because that's an AI of, I don't know if that's supposed to be Elder McKay or just someone, but it's an AI picture that he put up of a white guy strumming a guitar.
It looks like Captain Von Trapp singing Edelweiss.
I didn't understand. I don't know what's happening there, but that is an AI picture. Okay.
This is the idea of we're all supposed to sing Kumbaya together.
Yes.
And pretend that nobody's feelings got hurt.
So JH says on Mormon Stories podcast, one of my friends and colleagues, someone who does for his major church as a public historian what I do for my minor church as a public historian, and someone with whom I've had dinner in a group and hiked in a group, who happens to be one of the 70 leaders in this global church, is being criticized for his well-meaning comments about a gospel song. The controversy seems manufactured. The hymn, This Little Light of Mine, emerged from the African American gospel tradition and has been sung by people of every race for generations. The familiar phrase, I'm going to let it shine, or even a more colloquial rendering, such as, I'm gonna let it shine, is not a unique slave dialect. It is simply colloquial American English, nor is there anything inherently offensive about singing the hymn in a gospel style associated with its historical roots. So, if you guys want to read the rest of it, feel free to pause and all of that. We're not going to get into it because of time, but that first part is what I decided to respond to. And the reason why I let you guys know he posted in two places is because I posted on his personal page, which was public first, then realized that he had posted on Mormon Stories and ended up reposting it there. So we can continue.
Is this your comment?
This is my comment to him on Mormon Stories. So I didn't want to delete the one that I had already posted because I didn't know which one he would respond to. So I posted this. I posted this on your personal Facebook, but we'll repost it here. It is not unique to slave dialect. Then why did he reference white people singing like black people and an African slave? The only thing worse than the actual comment is this post defending it. Are we as Latter-day Saints so devoid of empathy that it's more important to tell those within our community that their feelings are manufactured controversy than taking a step back and telling our friends that was wrong? Also, instead of a pic strumming a guitar, you should post the clip itself so people can judge for themselves versus taking your word for it. Since the church itself has removed the stream, they must not have found the humor in it. The only clip I can find is through Nemo. Let your audience decide for themselves. And so that was my response to him on Mormon Stories podcast community.
What happened then? Is that going to be the next slide?
Well, that's going to be the next slide.
Okay.
I'm just going to say I was shocked. I was shocked at this response. I
just
don't know
read the
this
first
guy.
line.
I don't know this guy. Apparently, he's very well known and well respected in the community. I'm sorry if he's your friend, because this. Okay. So he responds, Summer-Rayn, you cannot make me into your racist. Sorry, that's so weird. What are you? Okay. You cannot make me into your racist. I was raised in the Black Panther Party when my father was chairman of the Minnesota Party, long before you were born.
Okay, hang on. Just let me back up. John Hadjasek, he's white or black?
He is white.
He's a white guy saying that he was raised. He was raised in the Black Panther Party.
In the Black Panther Party.
Okay.
When my father was chairman of the Minnesota Party, long before you were born. For much the same reason, I belong to a separatist branch of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that has ordained Black men as 70s since 1836, blah, blah, blah. So you cannot place me in your church either. Quit stereotyping people.
Okay, I'm trying to understand his logic here. So what he's saying is not only does he have a black friend, he has a lot of black friends. He was raised by black people when he was young. I didn't know the Black Panther Party had a daycare.
No, he wasn't just raised. He was raised in the most militant black group ever to be known. So it wasn't just, I have black friends. That wasn't enough for John.
Yes.
He was raised by black militants, which is what the Black Panther Party was.
Right. And of course, the part it plays in his argument is that because of my background, it's okay for me to defend a general authority LDS leader who has made racially insensitive comments.
I mean, I was trying to make him my racist, apparently. I don't even know. He just jumped the shark, right? Honestly, guys, I was very confused because I was talking about Elder McKay, and we went from Elder McKay to I was trying to make him a racist. And I never said that. I never said Elder McKay was a racist. I just said this was wrong. And the only thing worse than what he did, Elder McKay, was him trying to defend it. And now he apparently is, Jungle Book. He was raised by the Black Panthers. I'm so confused.
And he's not the member of the Mormon church. He's a member of a Mormon
He's not a member of the mainstream church. And again, I never said he was. I said, are we as Latter-day Saints devoid of empathy? Now all of a sudden he's stereotyping me, I think, saying what branch I'm part of. He doesn't know what branch I'm part of. And so, he goes on and on. He talks about not posting copyright material, but we had a separate thread and we were talking about this. And
wait a second. I see what he's saying in this the third paragraph. He's blaming you for posting that clip from Nemo, saying, that's copyrighted material. You don't get, it's not fair for you to post the racist comments that you're complaining about because it's copyrighted. He says, nor do I post copyrighted material. I create original content. Do not ask me to be dishonest like that. It is quite off-putting. So he calls you dishonest.
Yeah, it's off-putting. What he was actually saying was not Nemo. When I was saying to him, why don't you post an original clip, wherever you want to get that, instead of your sanitized version of the clip. What he is saying is he would not do that. And by me posting even Nemo's, I'm being dishonest.
Yes, exactly.
Even though he's doing an AI of someone strumming a guitar. So anyway, I'm going to be honest. I was very shocked at this comment back. I wasn't expecting for someone to say, well, I'm part of the Black Panther Party, and so, stop talking. I've never had that happen in my life. So I decided to ask him for evidence of this. I have family members who were members of the Black Panther Party in their formative years. I have personal stories dealing with the Black Panther Party. And so I asked him, and I think that's the next clip. There we go. I said, I'm curious about your claim that your father was affiliated on a top level with the Black Panther Party in Minnesota. My family also had ties with the original party. When was he chairman? A white chairman of the Black Panther Party is pretty interesting, especially in their formative years. Because Huey Newton would never. I just, to say you're chairman, there were white allies, 1,000%. But this was an organization created by Black people for Black people. And so if you continue, I think this was on Mormon Stories, and I think I asked him. So his response was a Black Panther t-shirt.
Is that supposed to be a picture of his dad?
No, that's him.
This is John Hadjasek in a. Is he holding it up or wearing it?
He's wearing it.
And it says, "Oh, that's the shirt you have on."
It is the shirt that I have on, except his is 1968. Mine is when the party was actually established in 1966. And so, again, I hope the audience was able to stay for this amount of time to see what full circle. But his shirt says "Power to the People," 1968. And then he sent pictures of, you can see on the right there, signs. The signs are not for the Black Panther Party. It is for the Freedom Party, the Peace and Freedom Party, which was another socialist group that is still around today, actually. I wrote, these pics show he was perhaps an advocate, as many white people were during the era. Do you have anything showing he was a chairman? And what years? Because he says 1964, I believe, to 1969. The Black Panther Party was not established until 1966. So I asked him for that.
What is the difference? Why the difference? Why is there a shirt that you have with 66 and his is 68?
He can ask Amazon or whoever he got the shirt from. I have no idea. I just know that this was 66 was when it was established. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Because the date of the establishment of an organization is not going to depend on when you buy the t-shirt.
It shouldn't.
You think it would remain the same.
Right. And I mean, if you're chairman of the party, I would assume that you would have when it was established. But I don't know. He's very talkative, so somebody can go on and ask him.
And what's with this picture, by the way? That's supposed to be taken in the 1960s?
No, it sure was taken a couple of years ago. I don't know what this guy's deal is. It
looks
gets
like
even
AI
better.
to me. It doesn't look like a picture from the 60s. And does he have any pictures of with actual Black Panthers in them?
No, he does not. And as we will continue, we will see why that is.
Stenciled signs. Okay, here we go.
So what he decides to do is reverse it and say, can you imagine, this is John, back to me. Can you imagine if I questioned your father's congressional career based on his skin color? Wow. You apparently know nothing about the 1960s civil rights movement, abolitionism either. I think he meant I suppose. And then he tells me to go to rare newspapers and all of that. And again, we were on two different web pages, social media at the same time. So this was on, I believe, Mormon Stories. The next one was on his personal, because he kept responding to me in different places. I don't know why that was. So if you want to go to the next clip.
Okay. And he's telling you to go to these different websites and you'll find the information that proves my claim correct.
Yes. And then on his personal site, he says, AKA Summer-Rayn, you are so racist that every white who defends against your racist accusation is an affront to you, even those who were in the civil rights movement. That is what this thread is about. But as a racist Karen, you cannot see it right on your own keyboard. Stop stereotyping people based on their skin color and heritage. And then he said,
Oh my gosh.
alternatively, you could try to be a good human instead of a Karen, coming onto my personal private history page with no social filter and blurting all sorts of things about my race and family history with all your stereotyping and xenophobia about my minority faith, because that's what I'm attacking.
Well, I
Right?
got to tell you, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
minority faith, I'm the victim here because I belong in an offshoot of Mormonism called the Bickertonites, I think is what it is.
Yes.
So you are attacking a minority, therefore you're a racist Karen.
Right.
Did he
Because
really-
I asked
is there anything that
him-
we're missing here?
No.
This
And
is really
again,
how it happened.
you guys can go on. There was a lot of exchange back and forth. We kind of made it simple.
Yeah.
But because I said your father was white, I would like to see some kind of evidence that he was a leader in the Black Panther Party, which is a Black militant group. I am now a racist Karen, and how dare I? Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about the lady
So
protesting too much.
Then I decided to take him up on his offer and actually look his father up. Now, this is what he actually posted, but I did my own research. And I put what he posted, and then it will get a little clearer. His father was part of the Peace and Freedom Party, which in 1968 was very big in getting 2 Black Panther Party candidates on the ballot. So they were allies 1,000%. If you want to go to the next slide.
Maybe that's why the 68 on his t-shirt.
That's exactly why. And this is, again, what he had put. So I'm trying to zoom in so you guys can actually see it. It says James Hayek, whatever his name is, said the American public has mistakenly identified the left with totalitarianism, and he moved that the party go on record, his party, the Peace and Freedom Party, in support of individual liberties, right? And then if you jump to after some discussion, it was decided that the content of the platform would be referred to a volunteer platform committee, which will report back to the state party in the near future. The officers elected were Hayek, chairman, Robert Cerna, Ms. Howley. So now they're listing everybody within the Peace and Freedom Party who were elected to help their party. If you go to the next clip.
Okay, so he's the chairman. He was elected the chairman of the Freedom Party in 1968, and this is the father, this Hadjisek guy.
Yes.
So John Hadjisek is the person you've been having the charming exchange with, but this is his dad.
His father.
Okay.
And he was the chairman of the Minnesota Peace and Freedom Party, which helped the Black Panther Party. So they were allies.
So I'm guessing, though, it's not the Black Panther Party.
It was not the Black Panther Party because, and this was his arrow. He actually put this arrow here to say the officers elected, but he had clipped it. So you didn't know officers elected were Hayek as chairman. And I wanted to keep that picture up there so you guys can see what Miss Hawley looks like, what Pence looks like, what Stark looks like, what Mr. Lawrence looks like. They are white allies, but they are not part of the Black Panther Party.
I understand. You explained it very clearly.
I hope so, because to have a white man appropriate a civil rights movement and a Black militant group decades later to shut down a Black woman who has direct descendants to that group is despicable. It is disgusting. And I give people a lot of grace. I truly do. I try to. I'm of the mindset of there by the grace of God go I, right? I don't know what people's paths are, but to jump to the Black Panther Party the way he did, to say you can't call me a racist and I can say whatever I want to because I grew up in this party, was shocking to me. And I'm very quickly going to explain my personal connection to the Black Panther Party. I've done this before, but I'm going to tell the story again. When I was in Syracuse, at Syracuse University for communications, I learned for the first time that the FBI had infiltrated the Black Panther Party. And ultimately, the reason, once they infiltrated, that's the reason why it disappeared. It dissipated years later, was because of this. I was very upset. I could not understand why the government got involved. All my life, I heard the KKK, they have the right to their hate. So going to college and hearing that the government had infiltrated and really did so much damage to a specific organization, I could not understand. I called my grandfather, who was in the South. He grew up in the South. His father was a slave, freed slave. And I said, Granddaddy, was the Black Panther Party good or bad? I'm not understanding this. And he said, Son, let me tell you a story. I was on the back roads of Alabama with your grandma, and we were just driving. It was getting dark. And all of a sudden, a truck full of KKK members pulled up behind us and made us pull off the side of the road. He said, I couldn't even see their faces. They all had hoods on. He pulls over, and right behind them, there was a car of the Black Panther Party. They pulled up right after them. And he said, Son, I don't know what happened. We kept driving. I don't know what happened on the back roads of the Alabama, but I know if it wasn't for that party, we would not be alive today. And he said, just like MLK Jr. and Malcolm X, the Black Panther Party was necessary for the civil rights movement. Said, I can't tell you if they're good or bad, but they were necessary. So for this fool to go on social media and decide to put out there that he grew up in a party that is the reason why my grandfather was alive to when he passed away is lower than low, because he didn't have to. He did not have to. I did not call him a racist. I didn't say he was racist. It is despicable. I don't have words for how low I think of this person and the lack of integrity he has. Now, you can say you were an ally. That is a big deal. But he didn't care to be an ally. He wanted to put himself up so high that it shuts down a Black woman on Facebook just saying, listen, this was not right. It's akin to digital blackface, which is what I was telling you about earlier, RFM, when white people pretend to be Black online so that they can go in spaces they're not supposed to be in, or they can say things that they know they cannot say or have the authority to say as a white person. That is what he did. And to try to turn around and say that I'm racist and all this, I don't care. But it is disappointing in 2026 that someone at his big age would think that this would fly.
Well, it looks like you have the receipts. Black Priesthood, any thoughts from you? And by the way, I'm going to put the link to the show in the live chat at this point. Let you come in and participate in the discussion. I know there's a lot to talk about tonight. Did you have any thoughts that you wanted to add to that, Black Priesthood?
Yeah. Just reading the text exchange, I was writing down some notes here. I go back to that minimization, right? So his comments were that this event was manufactured, or the reaction is manufactured. that this thing, he posted it in humor, that you should. So he turns around and blame you to quit stereotyping. It just, this playbook is we've seen this play before.
Nunya is in the studio now. Hi, Nunya.
Hi, Nunya.
Also, Alex.
Hi, Nunya.
And Alex.
Alex, the Disapo rant. Boy, these get more difficult for me to read every week. But it's Alex nonetheless. And here's Tim Rath. Come not between a dragon and his wrath.
Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Well, I keep introducing people, but nobody's saying, are you there, anybody?
Oh, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear Nunya. I think that was Nunya. And
That's Nunya,
Tim,
yeah.
I can see your forehead. Nice looking forehead, Tim.
And Alex.
There,
I think
Tim.
I think
Hi.
we know Alex too.
Alex, are you there?
I'm attempting to put a link in the chat.
Sounds painful.
I don't know if I can do this.
I couldn't understand him, but he's attempting to do something.
He also has the echo because
Hey, Tim,
the stream is
I'm
still playing in the
attempting to
background.
Tim,
I'm
can you
attempting-
adjust your camera? Because it's really bothering me.
I know that voice. I know Alex. Even though he changes his name every time, I know that voice, Alex. I know you.
So
There we go.
diaspora.
Yeah, diaspora.
Diasporant. Diaspora.
Like deodorant, like defendant.
Yeah.
Tim was Kilroy for a minute there.
Mhm.
Remember Kilroy?
Yes.
Kilroy was here. You just see the top of his little head. And okay.
See, Summer, this is where RFM gives us cultural references that nobody who is younger than him gets. Yeah.
These are the 1960s, baby.
Rebecca always gets them. Bill doesn't, but Rebecca's always like, "Yeah, I got it,
Well,
RFM."
Never get
So-
it.
Rebecca,
He never
bless her
gets
heart,
it.
Rebecca's been 29
just says
years
that.
old for Lord knows how long. She's been 29 years old.
That's true.
I'm
That's
sorry, but
true.
I'm nice to Rebecca. You might think I'm mean to Rebecca when we're on the show together. I'm very nice to her. When we're on the phone together, it's much worse. And she'll say, "Oh yeah, haha," and I'll say, "Do you get that? Do you get that?"
No.
Well, yeah. So what does it mean? I don't know. She just says she gets it.
I feel
But-
bad. Nunya, are you there? I haven't.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can hear you. Yep.
Okay. I wanted to say, number one, Summer and Black Priesthood, your experiences are valid. And you don't need me to say that, but, hopefully it's something. Because I grew up a lot in the southeastern United States. So some of those experiences that your grandpa talked about,
Mhm.
yeah, those are real. They're not necessarily that far removed, even relative to things like even within my family of faithful members. Let's just say when I left for college, I was told to not bring home any black babies, but the B word wasn't used.
Mhm.
Yeah. And even as late as like my grandmother's funeral, let's see, in the 2000s, when I brought my wife to meet some of my family,
Mhm.
I had a cousin who sat there and went on a 5-minute rant about, "Oh, wow, you got a white woman. That's great." And it was a 5-minute long rant. And I was so embarrassed the whole time because it's like, this is the experience my wife is getting to meet who I'm related to.
Yeah.
And, it's, I'm just saying very valid, very seen, and fairly contemporary in Mormon spaces. Like even to the point where one of the church members in the 90s, who I was in the same ward with, he disowned one of his sons for having a mixed marriage and refused to acknowledge the grandchild that he had from that marriage. And when one of the missionaries had returned, he flew back out to Australia and had married a lady of Aboriginal descent, and he had issues with that. And that, like to the point where me as a younger man was able to hear this stuff. Yeah, this is, so I can't say it's a uniquely Utah issue.
Mhm.
And, with how the church generally was teaching people to stay within your lane and your class is very in line with that racism attitude of where they started to separate poor whites. You're like, oh, hey, you're white. As opposed to, hey, you're poor, we're going to treat you like everyone else. So that's where all the stuff comes in, is that stratification of classhood, and all of that is still, it's boiling in there. And until the membership who was raised in it dies off, unfortunately, it's going to be there, and it will pass on to lesser extents.
Yes, they say progress is measured one death at a time.
Pretty much. So, yeah, I didn't mean to dump like that, but it's just, since the last time you were on, I'd been holding on to this stuff. I was like, wow, I hope I get to say this and say, hey, yeah, I've seen it more than I want to. I currently live in another state. I'll out myself a little. I live in Wilmington, North Carolina, where, similar to the Black Wall Street issue, this happened even earlier during Reconstruction. And someone had vaguely mentioned it in chat. Wilmington had actually elected a black government post-Reconstruction. And what had happened was some of the white property owners had gotten so upset about it, they ran off the black government.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing all that with us, Nanya. I'm glad you're on board. Alex and Tim, what do you have to add to the discussion?
Well, we did a whole show Tuesday night about this, and I sent you I was trying to put it in the chat, but RFM, if you check your email, I sent you a video, so a very informative 6-minute video about the history of blacks in America. The gentleman does a very good job of showing how we've always put down blacks from the very beginning. Everything that happened after the Civil War, towns that were flooded and destroyed. It wasn't just Wilmington. It wasn't just Lawrence, Kansas. It wasn't just Tulsa. It's happened. I learned a lot just from watching this video about how many times their communities were destroyed and flooded out. I was just aghast at myself. But
Well, thank you for sending that to me, Tim.
Chat, I think you're welcome. Yeah, if you want to play it, go ahead. But
Well, I'm not going to play it right now.
Kyle,
Play it right now.
Is that what you mean, to
Right.
play it right now?
Awesome. Play it right now.
no, play. You want to play? You want to play it right
No,
now?
I don't. Thank you. I don't want to play a 6-minute video from Tim Rathbone without previewing it. That's all I'm saying, folks.
But okay, Summer. Black Priesthood knows. He saw it Tuesday. But
You didn't email
I
it to
think
me.
Kyle,
Tim, you didn't send it
I
to
don't
me.
have your email. I don't have your email. I
It's
don't.
excuses.
I got a new phone, so I wasn't sure where the camera ticked up. That's why you only saw my forehead.
Move your camera
Anyway,
forward a few inches so that we can hear you.
It doesn't
Yes.
make
Forward.
The other
No.
forward.
Forward towards your face.
Oh my gosh. I'm glad he's not piloting a
You want
starship.
that? Don't.
You never get out of start, huh?
He certainly wasn't
Whatever the
Sulu.
hell they call that.
I think if it hadn't been videoed, Kyle would have gone on without ever saying anything. I think
that's true.
He got cut.
I think it's because
And I
nobody, I
think
don't
his
know that
lip-
anybody in that stake would have brought it up to him. Maybe they did, maybe they would have, but I don't think so. And I think that it's because it kind of blew up, that he
Yes.
understood maybe how bad it was and that an apology was necessary.
Agreed.
And I just think it's virtue signaling. I think that's all that apology was, is virtue signaling.
You were so cynical, Tim. How did you get this way?
71 years of life. and watching
We got
everything
5
go
on
to
me.
hell in a handbasket. Yeah, 5 on everything in the past 8 years, watching everything go to hell in a handbasket. Well, almost 10 years now. Yeah, 10 years, you know. I mean,
Why not 250 years, Tim?
I want to blame
oh,
it on
that would be
Ovaltine
nice.
and Mormon doctrine. That's what made him this way.
Tim,
Okay,
that's what made Tim this
Ovaltine.
way?
Yes.
Are you drinking your Ovaltine, Tim? Alex,
And
help us out of
Postum.
this.
And
Trouble. Tim is
Anybody.
trouble.
What do you want to
Postum
say,
and
Alex?
Ovaltine.
Yeah, Alex, what do you have? What words do you have for us today?
Well, before the latest revelations, my initial read on what happened was twofold. One, Elder McKay tried to sound profound. And two, he tried to sound prepared. So these two competing ideas in his mind. One, he was not prepared, and two, he tried to sound profound as is expected from someone in his office, and he failed miserably. That's my initial read. And Tim is right that unless it had been videoed, nobody would have known about this. Nobody would have known, or there wouldn't have been any blowback to some degree. But bully for him for actually apologizing, even if even if the apology is not as well met with the praise that I think he was expecting. And everyone said thank you, and then moved on to the next controversy. I think it's what's happening, instead of praising him for being brave enough to say something about himself that I didn't know what the hell I was talking about, and I wasn't prepared to speak at length about whatever issue was on his mind. I think he was trying to get from where he was to somewhere else somehow.
He was trying to get to his talk. And
Maybe.
he's got an introduction that he hasn't scripted, and he's just going to wing it. And this is what happened.
He, trying to sound prepared. And of course, his first idea was trying to be profound, and he failed.
I mean, why did he mention using a magnifying glass to torture poor grasshopper?
Because he's sitting there under these huge Klieg lights, not Klieg, but bright spotlights. Because they're on a stage, they're not in the church.
Tim, I agree.
That's not a magnifying glass.
He is showing empathy. Do you not understand this, Tim? The man is showing empathy for grasshoppers, because now he's on the receiving end of the light.
Yeah, it was his poor attempt at humor.
Guys, think about it. To glass burn ants is easy. They're slow and they don't look up.
I know.
Grasshoppers can jump away from you, which means you have to catch the grasshopper
and hold it.
Well, that's probably what he did, Alex.
That's the natural instinct.
Tried to burn their tail.
Yeah.
He tried to burn their tail, and they jumped away from him. And was he chasing him down the sidewalk into the field? And come on. Hi, Molly.
Hello, girl.
Hi.
How are you?
Molly, we're putting you in the Paul Lynn Square to block.
Oh, that's my that's a pillow.
No, she's center square. Yes, there she is.
I wanted to say, first of all, fabulous. Sorry for the hair. I'm trying to do a no
girl, you're good.
curling thing. But Nunya, what's up, ILM? We need to have a meetup. We need to go have some fun.
I'll stay within the bunker. It's safer that way.
There's someone else in the chat who's also Wilmington. I said, let's all meet up during the Margarita Festival in July. Let's go downtown and have some fun.
Sounds like a plan. Or you could just have the festival in Nunya's bunker.
Yeah, let's go.
It's only $24. You get 10 free margaritas and you get to vote for the best margarita in town. Let's go.
What could be better than that?
Yes. Sorry, I'm trying to chat with everyone at the same time.
Well, I was wondering what you're doing, because it's like you're looking over here, but that's your phone.
In the live chat, and I'm talking, and I'm trying to be like, yes, I'll add you, and I'll do that. Brownie, ILM is Wilmington. ILM is Wilmington. Calm down, Brownie. I hear you.
Yes, there's an airport
on the show.
North Carolina.
Yes. ILM is the name of the airport. We just shortened Wilmington to ILM. It's just our thing. Chill.
Why
like,
on earth did what happened to
say-
the W?
No one cares.
We don't
about
talk
the-
about that.
Was there another one that had WIL, like Willamette Airport or something?
Well,
I-
there's a Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking you guys were talking about because I'm
Yeah.
more northeast. So whenever you said Wilmington, but then
Oh.
you said North Carolina.
Yeah.
That's
That's
why I
Island?
specified.
And Willamette, the
Yes.
Willamette Airport is now PDX.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
the airport
Portland?
here in Portland.
I didn't think
Yeah.
Willamette had an airport
PDX
anyway.
makes me think of the Dollar Tree downtown now. It's a Dollar General PDX. It's like the quick serve Dollar General PDX.
So funny story. When I worked for the Oakland Raiders in PR, and then I worked for the Philadelphia Eagles in community relations, and then I threw my degree away and became a flight attendant. So I know all of the airport codes. And when I was trying to learn them, because like PDX and there's some that just don't make sense. And I remember asking my mom, who was a flight attendant as well for Eastern, I said, Mom, how do I remember Orlando? And
MCO.
it's MCO. And she said, Mickey comes out. And I will never, MCO, Mickey comes out. This was 2002. She was ahead of the curve. So I will never forget Orlando.
I went to school at
MCO.
UCF, so it was funny. I'm like, no, everyone local's like, I'm going to OIA. But then it's like, no, it's MCO. I'm like, listen, it's OIA. And I do what I want. Go away. Go
Yeah.
away.
Well, your mom would probably be familiar with like the Reedy Creek thing, possibly, which
Yeah.
is Disney's own like was its own essentially city state.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
still is.
That's when
With the Vatican?
she flew in the 70s and the 80s. So she knows
Mhm.
that's what she knew. Yep.
So, Summer, you know Panama City Beach, right? Florida?
Yes.
Okay. So, can you imagine when they had to choose a new airport code, what they chose for the airport code? ECP. What does
Yeah.
it stand for?
I don't know what it stands
Every
for.
college parties?
Everyone can party.
No.
I win.
For real. For real.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Well, they're not going to regret that name.
The Panama City and the towns around it are where all the summer breakers go.
Spring
Yeah,
break.
yeah, I
The
knew
spring
that.
breakers,
That
yeah.
makes sense.
That is
Everybody can
fun.
party, but the marketing opportunities are completely gone because they don't use it. They don't use it.
Wow.
Is there an RFM airport yet?
RFM airport.
That's what I want to know because that's where I want to fly.
Don't know the one. Don't know
Not
it
in
yet.
the U.S. RFM airport.
Raleigh's
code.
RDU. Close.
So if I create my own airport, if I build my own airport, RFM is available.
RFM is still on the table.
Okay.
All you need to do is move to Latveria, make your mountain fortress, and then you have your RFM airport directly landing in the mountains of Latveria.
Directly
So
in the
is that a
bunker.
Dr. Doom reference?
Of course it is.
Okay. I figured it was. I wasn't paying much attention, but the Marvel jumps out and grabs me.
Not to
Brown is
drag
saying at
this
least
on,
RFM
there's-
didn't call me bossy. Not tonight, and not yet.
There is an RMF airport in Egypt. RMF.
Really? Well, they're kind of
So no
dyslexic over there in
RFM?
Egypt.
No, RFM.
RFM. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you looking at you're looking this up? Is that what you're doing, Alex?
Yes.
Google
That's
is
why his face isn't on the screen.
Google is like the 9th wonder of the world.
Okay. The 8th, of course, being Kong. We all know that.
The 10th being chat.
Oh my
Chat
God,
GPT.
you fell into it. That's great.
Yeah, because when you were talking about my little racist dude, because that's what I've named him now for you, because you came up with Cloud
Okay.
Shark. So yeah, you've got your own pet little My Little Pony, except it's My Little Racist.
Oh,
Yeah. My little racist. MLR.
That's right, because you keep him in your barn.
Yeah. Love it. I love it.
So I looked up, it was like, okay, 68. Did the party form then before you'd hit that stage and chat? And I was like, no, that wasn't it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll pay more attention to the show. But I was like, okay, maybe there's something he could have. But I've only seen a fictional movie about I should say it was a Hollywood type of movie, not a small budget, probably not a huge budget version of the Black Panther story. It had the same guy from The Matrix. The guy was one of the operators as Huey Newton.
Fishburne
or Huey Dutton. Yeah, it was definitely no, it wasn't Lawrence Fisher. It was the guy who was in charge of piloting the hovercraft and would run the agents through when they went into the Matrix. I don't remember the actor's name.
Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah.
No,
you know who it is?
That's
No,
not
it
Lawrence
wasn't
Fishburne.
It was the other guy.
Yeah, he actually had hair.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right, because you could see him, and you're like Tank, and like
yes,
Tommy Chong.
Okay, Alex is probably going to disappear from the screen for a second.
In
While he
another
consults the ninth
movie.
wonder of the world.
So he was in another movie about the Black Panthers. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was.
Marcus Chong was Tank in The Matrix. Lawrence Fishburne was Morpheus.
Yes.
I'm trying to see if I can find the movie.
I think that while you're nailing this down, we're probably losing the rest of the audience, but you keep doing that, okay? Because that's what the show is about. It's about whatever you want to do, no matter how banal.
Oh, don't worry. Trevor's having fun in the chat.
Summer, I'm really struck by the MLR's little attempt to play the racist in reverse card. And I brought this up in the chat.
Yeah.
It's really hard to engage in debates if you're going to start with my racist. I'm going to make you my racist. Think about it. Who are the people who use that debate tactic?
Yeah.
Angie Davis, bless her heart.
Yeah.
Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Huey, what's his face?
Newton.
Newton.
Yeah.
Huey P. Newton. Yep.
These are folks who knew and understand what it really meant, what the experience was like, and they were familiar with the debate tactics that were used against them, and they flipped it. And if you notice, nobody uses that debate tactic today because it will blow up in your face if you don't do it well enough. If you're going to say something, it's got to be profound. And if you're going to use, I'm going to make you my racist as a tactic, you damn well better be splitting hairs with the liturgy and some sort of highfalutin moral code. And if you fail, then just as you've just proven, you fail. You fall all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want is to try to play the I'm going to make you my racist card against a black woman. And she does all the hard work of looking up your claims, using the ninth wonder of the world, which is Google.
Yeah. And you put him in his little barn and you gave him his hay and you sat there and brushed him down because you rode him hard and didn't want to put him away wet because you don't want to kill that guy, that poor little pony.
Okay, Nunya.
Nunya, we have to go meet up. Oh my goodness, we are having this party.
I did put in the slides, and I don't know if we can still put it up. What our last final text? What the final thing was that he said to me?
Yeah.
Do you have that up there?
Yes.
I think it was right before. It's past that. This was the final thing that was said. No, past that. Oh wait, are we going backwards?
Yes, we're going backwards.
No. It wasn't
past
said
it,
yet.
It's actually going sort of the opposite direction.
Yeah. So go forward.
Okay. There's the sign one that was taken in the 1960s of the stenciled signs about.
I want to say something. These signs were not made by the Peace and Freedom Party. They were made by the Youth International Party. That stencil pattern and that particular size of sign were made by the Yippies.
Really?
So
he's appropriating everything.
So now they did make signs. They made signs for free for everyone. All you have to do is request them.
Wow.
So I think he needs to add the caveat that these were signs that were made by the Yippies for the Peace and Freedom Party, and the Vigil for Peace in Vietnam is not a real event. That was sort of a broad series or sequence of protests that occurred all over the U.S. Well, in Canada too. I think we tend to leave Canada out
Yeah.
of the American discussion because it's Canada,
Mm.
but it's everything that happened here happened there. So
Wow.
yeah, I want to point that out. So
He
these
won't.
signs.
He won't add any caveat. I'm telling you right now. He won't add. I
So
mean,
this-
he's saying his father was the chairman, and he grew up in the Black Panther Party. He's not gonna do that.
At this
But
point,
Artham, can you go
he's just
forward?
straight up drinking lead paint.
Here's something he says to you. Can you imagine if I questioned? Is that it?
No. Keep going. We never saw it, so keep going.
We never saw it because that's where it ends there
Keep going
before it goes to your
keep
research.
Keep going.
She may have put it after the
Oh,
research, maybe.
fine.
Oh no,
I don't think so because then we get to all this stuff.
What?
not in
Okay,
there.
so what I can't believe I didn't put it. I did put it in there. I just probably didn't save it. But he says, "You're adorable."
Yes.
RFM. I can't believe that you forgot that he said this because we had a full
do remember
conversation
it.
about it. He said, "You're adorable and smart. If you were kind, we would be best friends, or we would be friends."
Here's the thing, Summer. Is there some way that you can like email that to me and I'm going to monkey around and put it up because you've
I
got
could
to see
absolutely.
this, folks. You've got to see this to believe it.
No. Yeah, it was I'll email it to you right now.
Okay.
But that's just to say how it kind of wrapped up because it was fun. Yeah.
So you're saying your little racist sat there and nuzzled you after the good rub down, so that way
Yeah.
He showed his appreciation.
He called me adorable.
RFM is adorable, but RFM would eat him for lunch. Like, no. This dude must have been guzzling lead paint as a child to be this cheese in the brain.
Imagine someone like this trying to represent themselves in court. Imagine the kind of spectacle we would witness.
Yeah.
I'll probably see that in a couple of weeks. So
Wait a second. Oh, so you're going to be involved as a witness, an expert witness in a case where a defendant is representing himself?
yes.
Yeah, those get long and tedious, don't they? Sometimes entertaining, though.
But I don't know if it's going to happen because we still have a very, very high profile murder trial going on here in Wilmington. And they're not predicting it will be done before the middle of July. So I think my case is going to get continued again.
Oh, wow.
Black
Yeah,
Priesthood, you
cases
haven't
get
said
continued
anything for
all
like-
the time. And then people, in these high profile cases, whether it's high profile Mormon related case or otherwise.
Sorry,
And if you
Alex.
follow it closely, it seems like people get really, really astonished and upset that the trial is being continued yet again.
Yeah. Well, it's a high profile like murder trial. I'm not in it. I'm not a part of it, but I was actively working around when it was going on. So I'm up on what's going on.
Alex, did you make a comment?
Well, you haven't said anything.
Oh, I'm just enjoying this banter and exchange. Yeah.
It's nonsense. It's fine.
I saw you smile, then you didn't hit the mic.
Yeah.
And RFM, I sent you an email, but I can also show it.
It's okay. I'm working on it right now. Thank you so much.
Can you can cut the top
Piper.
part. And if you guys enjoy this, feel free to go on Mormon Stories podcast and look it up because we did have a fun exchange. He called me racist for asking for proof. I told him, listen, my great grandfather was a slave, but he was also the founder of the Alabama KKK, and he was a triple dragon. And if he asked for proof, then he's a racist Ken. And so, we kind of, it was fun until I realized that he had no integrity. And then there's no point in exchanging with somebody that will lie. Right. So anyway, if you want to go through, you can go through. It was fun for me.
So Summer, what you're saying is that I sat there, closed my eyes, turned my back, and I threw from half court and I made the basket.
Yes.
And won $1 million.
And won $1 million. It went right into the hoop.
And then everybody clapped.
Yeah.
No, that's his ending. Everyone clapped. It was a slow clap. because it's got to be a slow clap.
I
That
will
You're
builds.
so
say-
close to being there.
This all happened
John-
on Monday. Just so you guys know, this
John-
happened on Monday. All these exchanges, and then yesterday I went on and saw that he told someone that he was a Black Panther member. So I'm hoping that that was the
There we go.
whole-
It might have been in like 5 times the time it would have taken Bill to do it, but there it is. So can I read this?
Yes, please do.
Thank you. I think you've already summarized it. But so I'm reading, this is on the Mormon Stories podcast community. Am I supposed to read the part?
You don't have to read
leads
that
up to
part.
The picture.
Yeah, that's
Is
when he was saying that
libel.
I
I say, is this supposed to be a picture of you?
No, it was a meme. But he tried to say that I was libeling him by saying that his father, that he's a liar. I said, you're a liar. Your father was never part of the Black Panther Party. And so then I was, said this. But it's the next comment that we were going to talk about.
Okay. And I'll have to move everybody over to the side.
RFM.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, the problem is that I can't read it then because it's too small.
Oh.
So John Hayachek says, Summer-Rayn, you're adorable and smart. If you were a kind person, we'd make great friends.
Ew.
I know. Isn't
John
that awful?
Hayek has the biggest ego of anyone I know in Mormon history.
You know this guy.
Hang tight. Let me see if I can get the snark right for the last
I
bit.
know this guy. I
Hey,
know this guy.
Nanya, do you want to say my part?
Oh, wait. Yeah, if we were kind and you were honest, I'm sure we'd be best buds.
Yes. Because he said I wasn't kind. So I said, if I was, you know what? You're absolutely right. If I were kind and you were honest, I'm sure we'd be best buds. Tim, do you know this guy? Apparently he's very well known and respected
Well, okay.
in the community.
Well, he owns a bunch of 1830 Book of Mormons. He possesses more Book of Mormons. I don't know if it's 10 or more, but he has a bunch of 1830 Book of Mormon. He has a bunch of Book of Mormon, the different versions to 1842. He's well known in historical circles. He's a bigger tonight. He got the sunstones from the Nauvoo Temple that Hinckley promised him, and he had to sue the church to get them, and they finally gave them to him. He's well known for some, he did something in an archive. He stole something, a coin or something, and back in the 80s or the 90s. Yeah, that
Alex,
guy.
I was like, oh, him?
Oh, I've had interactions with him. I've had interactions with him. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Did he call you a Karen?
Well, I hope the Book of
No.
Mormons that he has is not in the same vault as his Black Panther Party paraphernalia, because
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, according to him,
In
he
the
should be
chat, he
wrapping
said
that
it's-
in his Black
in the
Panther
chat.
T-shirt, his Book of Mormons.
In the chat, he was two people, we think, right? That Mormon Television and the Steve something. And he
No,
said his T-shirt was 1966. What?
It was Michael Hewitt.
He
Was
said
the
his-
other
Michael
his
Hewitt and the
shirt-
other. Okay, but he's
His shirt
said it says
68.
1966.
68.
He
His shirt
said in the
actually-
chat is. Okay, I'm just saying what he said in the chat.
Okay,
It
got
was
it.
1968. Tessa kept blocking him as the two people. Yeah, he has a big ego. He has a really big ego. Okay, the guy is insufferable. I've met him a couple of times.
So on a
that's
scale
typical of him.
of ego from let's go with Roman plebeian to RFM.
How about 0 to RFM on that scale of ego? Where does he fall?
Where's the ego fit?
I was going to say his ego sounds like it fits with Trump, but okay.
That's
He's
what
got
I was going to say.
like it too.
He sounds like kind of a
It's his
dick.
biggest. He is. He really
So
is.
he's pompous. I know he's pompous because to I don't know, to invoke Black Panther Party out of nowhere just to And for Elder McKay to end up coming back and saying sorry, he did all of that for Elder McKay to say he's sorry. That's not someone that I want in my circle.
Isn't that the beauty of it? That he went out of his way to be biggest dickus, the biggest dick imaginable to you in that those comment section, right?
Yeah.
And it's on the Mormon Discussions podcast, you know, so it's really public.
Right.
And now
Biggest
he's
dick.
defending a guy who just got done apologizing and saying he's sorry for what he said.
Yeah.
Biggest dick.
Do you guys remember the South Park episode where they had Operation Human Shield?
No, I
Yes.
don't want
I saw
South
that
Park.
one.
Sorry.
Okay, so
Yes.
basically that's the Tim remembers. He's like, that's kind of what this guy did. Basically, the premise behind Operation Human Shield was to strap a whole bunch of black people to all the equipment, and all the white people fought behind them.
What?
Yes, this is what your dude was doing right there.
Oh.
He was sitting there and like,
Classic.
look, I've equipped the armor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
It's called
Yeah.
a meat
it was a dark
shield.
episode.
Meat
But,
shield. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Jerry-
guess he is a member of the Strangite Church.
Yes, it's the
I-
Strangites. It's not the bigger tonights. I remember that now. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jerry Grover, for reminding me.
Yeah,
He's a member of
I-
the Strangite Church, as if the Mormon Church weren't weird enough. No, you've got Strangites.
yeah.
So-
I just told him he was not being a good Latter-day Saint, and he decided to kind of go elsewhere. But you know, hey, if you like it, I love it. You know.
I think the only reason that Mormon historians cooperate with him is because he has so much stuff that he's willing to share.
I would double check. That's all I'm gonna say.
I
I
know.
would
And
double-
he charges very low fees to gain access to what he has. So that's one reason many people in the establishment, especially the MHA members, don't really say much about him, even though they probably would agree with our interpretations of his behavior. They remain quiet because they want access to his documents.
It
Wait,
was
so are his documents? Are any of his documents been authenticated? I mean,
Yes, he has Joseph
Yeah.
Smith
Okay.
and Emma Smith documents.
Yeah,
He has a lot of stuff.
this is not Mark Huffman type.
Yeah.
No,
Documents,
no.
is
Oh,
it?
no.
I was attempting to get. I was looking for different variants of Solomon Spaulding's Romance of Celeste, or the Romance of the Heavens. Spaulding wrote a series of vignettes or romantic short stories. They're really long, actually. And there's one that's presently in archive at the Library of Congress, but I've heard there are other versions of the same story in a different hand. And I heard through the grapevine that he probably had some pages from that. So I interacted with him for a while. Turns out he didn't have any. But the one thing that I got off of the few interactions we had over the phone was this guy is accustomed to not telling the truth. I don't know what clued me in. Maybe it was something he said, maybe a claim that he made. I don't really recall. But he did mention a coin, which I ended up looking into, and that's what Tim brought up. That's why I went, oh, that guy. I've had a dealing with him.
So how do you say
Very
his
brief,
last name
very brief.
correctly, Alex, Tim?
Hayacek or Hayacek?
Haycheck.
Is he
Haycheck,
Polish?
Haycheck.
Just Haycheck?
No,
It's Czech. So the proper pronunciation is Hayacek, but the
yeah,
English
probably.
is closer to Hayacek or Haycheck.
Mm.
Will work.
Does it sound like what he says, Tim? Haycheck?
That sounds about right. Haycheck.
Yeah,
Haycheck.
he
I want to make
says-
sure we're pronouncing his name correctly when we're denigrating him.
He says Hayacek he says that he sounds like he's from Minnesota, yeah. So yeah, he's always talking about the place up there, So sometimes it's really hard to understand what he's saying, because sometimes he's got to go out there and do the fishing, yeah.
Oh
So-
gosh,
I
oh
think-
crap, don't you?
Oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah, oh hey, we go over there. It's the good fishing
Or
there
no
on the lake there.
tapioca.
Oh, you betcha.
Oh yeah,
Chuck-
sometimes when you try to
think
make that sauce there, you end up with scrambled eggs instead. It's
Oh,
it's pretty
wow.
it's really really bad. Yeah.
Chuck-
Oh yeah.
Chuck
Chuck
said,
just said that he was on Ward Radio.
He says
Of
big time
course he
apologist researcher. So he's kind of entertaining. I like to tease him a little when he's on Ward Radio.
He goes on Ward Radio. If I had known that, I
I'm
never would have engaged. I had no
Wow.
idea. That says everything I need to know.
Involved in the photograph of Joseph Smith.
I'm sorry. What about the photograph of Joseph Smith, Tim?
He got involved in that. He was one of the ones involved in that, finding that, authenticating it. Yeah.
I think he came out and said that. I think he was the one that. He was part of the group that said that it wasn't Joseph Smith, right? That
something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
And I think I think he lives in Nauvoo now too, or near there, from what I understand.
I believe Rebecca said he's in the Midwest. Yeah.
I wonder if they have internet there.
You know, I often go out of my way to call that town. I have to go out of my way to call that town by its old name. So I say Commerce, Illinois, and I watch the Mormons squirm.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean.
You don't mean to, Alex? Is that what you're about to say? I don't mean to.
I have to say that, for just to save face. I don't mean to be mean or, a bit of a troll, but
be mean. Own that shit.
Yeah.
I'm all about being mean. I choose violence every day. Heck yes. I just want to say that, I don't know this guy at all. I don't know him at all. I don't even care to know how to pronounce his last name. But
I think we just need to call him Hijack.
Hijack. I will call him Hijack. Yeah.
Okay, Hijack.
But what I know is that he's well known, and that's what shocked me after having this exchange. When people are well known and respected in the community, any community, they tend to be on better behavior. And I was kind of shocked at this person. So I don't know him. I don't know to say that, his stuff isn't real or not. But I think that it just says a lot about his integrity. And he, that's really all I got to say about him. I think it's kind of sad.
I have a question, Summer. Do you think, putting yourself in his psychological morass,
don't do that.
Do you think that did he believe that there would be other people who would come to his defense in his pursuit of attempting to at least correct you?
Yes.
I don't. I don't. I honestly don't. I think that he has told this so many times that he thought he was beyond reproach. I truly think that's what it is. I don't think people with his type of arrogance waits for people to come to his defense. I think he's said this story so many times. People have believed it. He told me in one of the posts, go ahead and search Panther on my site, on my Facebook. So he has told this story so many times that I think that he has used it before to shut people down. He just met the right one.
But you know what's really interesting to me? Just the vicious circle of this whole thing. Mm-hmm. You use newspapers.com, which is owned by ancestry.com, which is owned by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints through a subsidiary. So you used a Mormon-owned resource to punch him in the face, to prove that he was inventing a story.
I did use that, and I used other sources, but that was what he had posted. So I did my own research, but what I put on here was what he posted to give him the benefit of the doubt of, but so that was his proof of whatever he wanted to prove. But yeah, I just it's very interesting.
So is he going for the Stolen Valor Award for
who's talking?
What was that?
Nanya.
Peter Higgs. I was just going to read from Down Under. Peter Higgs says that he thinks this dude was throwing stones, forgetting that he was in a glass house, I reckon. And what he was trying to prove was that he is an A-class wanker.
And he proved it without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah.
And
Nanya, what were you saying?
Yeah, my interjection was going to be, I think, I wonder if he qualifies for a Stolen Valor Award for attempting to sit there and insert himself into the history of the civil rights movement.
I feel like, I don't know about you guys. I know that I'm assuming that Black Priesthood feels the same. that is the lowest of the low. I don't know if you guys understand how low it is to say, I am going to appropriate a civil rights movement to shut down someone who was directly affected by that movement. I wish I could put into words, but I can't put into words how low and without integrity. This is someone that I just will never engage with in the future, because if you can do that, wow.
It's a kind of celebrity that's not deserved. You
I
have
get it.
characters such as Angie Davis and Bernie Sanders, who I disagree with vehemently, politically, even philosophically. But those two characters have more claim to the celebrity of being a participant in the civil rights movement than this fella who decided to put up a few claims and didn't expect a black woman to say, well, let me look.
Yeah.
This white demon's trying to tell me some shit. Let me look this up.
He was on his way out to Walmart in Somerset there and checked the receipt in the cart because, he looked sus.
I was like, do you have a Costco membership? Before you leave, let me make. I love it.
You
I love
guys
it.
know
I made a-
It was crazy to me when I saw that.
I made a joke that he was trying to get invited to the cookout, but it totally went the other way.
Not. No.
Like Priesthood, he was trying to bring. Go ahead, Tim.
Do you guys know about the Black Panthers and the Sacramento and the guns?
The Sacramento and the
69. The Black Panthers went to the state capitol, Sacramento, with their guns.
Oh, yeah.
And they had their guns.
Yeah. That's when they got on the FBI list.
Governor Reagan.
And within a few weeks, brandishing weapons in public became illegal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. Governor Reagan.
Yep.
You think that's a bad thing? Tim, talk to me here.
I do.
I think that brandishing weapons in public should be okay.
Well,
remember the Second Amendment does say, let's see, in order to maintain a well-regulated militia.
Brandishing weapons shall be permitted. Yes, I know what it says.
I will say this. RFM, I will say this. Utah has no problem brandishing weapons in public. And that law, from what I remember, was called the Black Panther Law when they passed it.
Exactly.
Because it was in direct response to the Black Panthers. And so that,
brandishing,
I know my history.
I know you do. I'm just going to say brandishing means something more than carrying openly.
Right. Okay.
No, we're not getting into the legal stuff.
Okay. And I wasn't there. I was in Waco, Texas. I was doing my own thing.
Oh, there are
it's not Mormonism. It's not Mormonism After Dark if RFM does not throw out that he is a lawyer. Okay, we get it.
I don't think Luke mentions he's a pilot, okay?
I'm going to share some slides, RFM. I've got a deck of about 200 slides on the Second Amendment. So give me a second here. Let me see.
Because when I was that age in the 60s in Waco, I was growing up. My dad was like one of the presidents of the the David Koresh fan club.
Waco.
There's the Waco. There's the Waco reference.
You had a fan club.
Yes, absolutely. I grew up I have a T-shirt.
So my family and I were driving.
I think it was 1995.
My family and I were driving north from San Antonio. We stopped in a small town called Mejia to pick up a family member, and we were driving north to Dallas because we were going to go visit family. And we drove through Waco, and the police pulled us off the highway. And then more and more cars were being stopped. So we got off the road and pulled into, I think, a Dairy Queen, or maybe it was some kind of burger shop or something. And then there was this giant smoke stack, or smoke cloud in the distance.
Mhm.
We didn't know what it was. We assumed it was that. There's a lot of chemical plants around Waco, so we thought maybe there was some sort of accident.
Was it in April of 1995?
It was in '95.
Yeah.
We took the back roads and eventually we found our way back onto the interstate and went on. It wasn't until weeks later that I was like, "Holy shit, we were there when the Waco attack happened."
Wow.
That was my family.
Holy cats. Holy cats.
Wow. Wait,
That's
Arfin,
your
you said that's
family,
your
Arfin?
family?
Yes, I grew up there.
Yeah, okay, but what part was your family? You said that was my family. Which part? Like
Arthur, you were not in the building. Stop it.
But my family was. I have
Your
a T-shirt
entire
this
T-shirt.
summer.
Seattle.
It's a T-shirt. It says Waco, 1995.
Oh my god.
wow, that's pretty insane. Can I ask though, really quick, from a legal perspective, what would be the difference between brandishing and carrying? I would like to hear that.
The brandishing, it does get more
Wendy put it
subjective,
in
but
the
you often
chat.
deal with things about the reasonable man, what the reasonable man or person nowadays would think in a situation. But brandishing is displaying a weapon in such a way that a reasonable person would think it's threatening.
Threatening. Okay.
Yes,
Right.
that you're
Okay,
threatening
open
to
carry.
use it
Excuse me.
in some way.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Excuse me. That's the first word that came to mind. Excuse me. But Wendy just confirmed that we went to visit RFM's childhood home in Waco last November with his brother. So there's
Yeah.
a second witness to you, RFM.
In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
So, RFM, are you the second coming of Koresh? Should we be looking for favors now? Or
I've had enough wives, I guess. Believe me, it's been no picnic.
Koresh had
Oh
what,
my
14, 15 wives? And
when do we
He
get
had
an
a lot
invite
of
to the compound?
And they were married to other
that's the
guys
question.
generally, and the deal was that the guys couldn't have sex with their wives, and only David could, if I'm recalling correctly. I was only a kid at the time.
Wow.
Has anybody ever looked into the hallmark of multiple wives? What is it about this one condition and criteria that, and if you look at Koresh, Mormonism,
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, what's the New York-based one that just got busted in
Nexium.
Oh,
Nexium, yeah. Nexium was aggregating women, right?
yes.
But Black Bishop, you have to put a proviso around that because this is particular to Judeo-Christian, not Islam. Islam has a polygamous history.
That's true.
Right.
But Jews post-temple and Christians post-Christ, polygamy is denied. It's not valid.
Yeah.
So what is it about that? Because that's a good question. Why do all of these fuckers end up going crazy and then taking on multiple wives,
I
and
don't
then they
know.
end up dying?
I feel like they're going to jump on all the other guys and saying, "I've got a bigger wanker than you."
Yeah.
I'll do it in a YouTube ad fashion. It's this one simple loophole that was provided by the Bible that these people are using to sit there and attain the dream of quote unquote heterosexual males of having their own harem to sit there and satisfy them.
Mm.
It could just be egotistically, or it might be psychosexual, probably sexual, if we're being straight honest. But, there is also, even if you're not sexually involved with your multiple wives, there's the whole power trip of, I get to set myself above and apart from these people because I live to a higher standard that's closer to the biblical standard.
Well, Charlie Manson and Jim Jones were proven sex addicts. Koresh, he had something going on. I can't remember what he was.
Nuts.
So craziness, yeah.
Mental
Isn't there a
illness.
similarity though to the Old Testament and probably other older civilizations where the kings would marry multiple wives,
Well,
not
that's
only
to
to show
ensure
make alliances with other countries, but also as a sign of their superiority.
Not to mention virility.
Those are dynastic relationships.
Or to ensure that they have heirs, just as Tim is pointing out. Dynastic, yeah.
Ugh,
Which is what Joseph Smith was all about.
Patriarchy. That's what I thought.
It's just
Yeah.
patriarchy and gross.
But if you look at women who have been in power, that's a very similar play. Like Catherine Catherine the Great in Russia, she had multiple male partners. She produced several children.
Yeah, she did quite a bit of polyandry.
What's her face? I can't remember her name now. One of the queens of Spain, she had multiple lovers, and she almost named someone who was not her legitimate heir as her heir because she preferred him.
wow.
Yeah.
Isabella.
Queen Elizabeth the first likely had multiple children.
Multiple children, partners? Is that what you're
She had
saying?
multiple children from multiple men,
Yeah.
but she was prevented from naming any one of them as her heir because she was not married.
Yeah.
She made a big spectacle of never marrying. So
So it became her nephew,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
nephew or cousin
James.
or so-and-so.
Whatever. He was probably many things. Everybody, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I think, make good on my promise that even though we went longer than we usually do, at the beginning of a mad episode, that I did make time for everybody who wanted to come on to be heard. And Alex has disappeared again. God only knows what he's doing.
RFM.
Don't ask.
RFM, this is probably
Yes.
one of the most important subjects for Mormonism, because it is a race-based church from the very beginning. And it's about time that we fully acknowledge how we were all taught to be racist without even knowing it in the church. You know,
That's true.
just a fact.
I will tell you one thing.
Yeah.
The church made me very comfortable with my prejudices.
Yes.
Yeah, because I could say, from growing up in a Southern ward, you looked at the person of color or who was not as white as you when you were reading through those passages in the Book of Mormon. And it wasn't an intentional look. It just all naturally drifted that way.
Yeah.
And if I could say, I mentioned Dr. Matt Harris's book earlier, but he does talk about the fact that Mormonism follows Americanism, right? So it wasn't. I love that you were saying earlier, Nunya. It's not about Utah, and I want to make that even broader. It's not about Mormonism as much as it was America and the society, and unfortunately, I feel like America moved forward faster than Mormonism did, which is why we're still seeing these problems, because America has been able to say that was wrong and we shouldn't have done that. Whereas Mormonism kind of kept saying, well, no, it was God. We don't know why. And that's why I think that we're seeing, a slower progression within the LDS Church as opposed to America. So it's not Mormonism only, it's not Utah only. It was a systemic issue, but we're hoping that the LDS Church will catch up.
Yeah, Robert E. Lee had actually written in a letter at one point after the Civil War about monuments and stuff. And he'd said, listen, don't put up monuments, essentially. And I'm paraphrasing here, because all you're going to do is retard the progress of reintegration into the Union. And, and reconstruction and reconciliation.
One thing my sister discovered is I have a Black and a Native American ancestor, which blew me away. With all the genealogy we did in our family, my sister dug this out a while ago. She says, "You're not going to believe this." I said, "Are you kidding me?" It just blew me away.
You should never have been ordained.
I know, right?
That's right.
I'm surprised you didn't explode on the spot like the Nazis at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I know. It just, when my little sister found it, and she told me, I can't remember it was before or after my parents passed, but it just blew us all away. How did you figure this out? She's just a really good researcher. Anyway, it just.
I'm just wondering about all the sacraments you blessed and whether that counts anymore.
Or the baptisms, or the
all the priesthood blessings you gave.
Tim's making everyone go to hell faster. Ooh.
Like finding out a prosecutor was corrupt. Do all those cases get thrown out?
Yes.
All of Tim's sacraments get thrown out. Like the
It's more like a
crooked
prosecutor.
prosecutor.
Prosecutor never had a bar license.
And get this, he was a Revolutionary War soldier too. He was in the fight of the Revolution. I
don't remember
You
I
guys
was
are-
don't remember who
Solomon
brought
to
it up.
finance the American Revolution, and I have a black ancestor who was in the freedom fighter for the Revolution.
Nice.
Just crazy stuff.
Then you do want to say something to lead us
All
out.
the power of discernment. Sorry.
Just remember, if you're worried about that, about your previous sacraments being valid, we let young men who sit there and probably don't have the greatest of hygiene handle sacramental bread barehanded, because there is no sanitizer up there. I can attest to that.
There's a sink. There's a sink, damn it. They're supposed to wash their hands.
Supposed
Right.
to and you are different things, RFM.
RFM, when you were 16, were you always washing your hands all the time that you should be?
Yes. And no one can disprove it.
That's the correct answer, RFM. That's because you should never let anyone know. I bet you were one of those guys who sat in the bathroom and you were just washing your hands. You're like, yeah, I'm just doing this because you were here.
Oh, God.
And the other guy
Summer's gonna
walks out.
find out on the Wayback Machine. She'll find out, RFM. She'll find out your dirty, dirty hands.
Can we have somebody else lead us out?
Summer,
that was
Summer,
You want to
not-
volunteer, Summer? Why don't
Summer,
you lead us out?
No.
No,
I
Alice.
got a question. Summer, you mentioned a book. Wait, are you talking about Second Class Saints? I think
Yes,
it's called.
yes.
Okay.
Sorry, Dr. Matt
Okay.
Harris, Second Class
Yeah.
Saints. Fantastic book.
It is. It's very well researched. Not as well liked. I'm told by a number of individuals.
It's good. It's good though. It's good history. RFM,
All right.
get us out of here.
I'll
Holy
get you. I'll
crap.
get you home safely,
Otherwise,
okay?
I'll come up with something worse.
Just leave the driving to me.
Anya.
All right, everybody, thanks so much for joining us tonight. It has been a lot of fun. Special thanks to Summer and to Black Priesthood for being here, as well as all the great guests, all the people watching, all the people in the live chat. Please join us next week for another exciting episode of, what is the show
Mormonism
called?
After
It's
Dark.
Mormonism After Dark. That's what it is.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man.
It's not going to work. It's going to stay online. Yep.
Nah, he's going to kill it.
You think so?
I think he is.
No, we're still live.
We're still
Oh,
off
yeah.
this. Goodbye, guys.
I guess